It's only preseason, it's only preseason, it's only preseason, it's only preseason. Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney, and there was Blackhawks hockey on my TV last night. It was only preseason hockey, but it was still real hockey, and they played the Detroit Red Wings. Well, they played the Grand Rapids Griffins, posing as the Detroit Red Wings at least. Being the first game of the preseason, the Hawks didn't roll with all of their big guns last night, but let's look at the lineup that they did put out there. For the forwards, line one, we had Dominik Kubalik, Philip Kurashev, and after 407 days, Captain Jonathan Toews was back. Did it make you a little emotional seeing him out on the ice? Because it definitely made me a little emotional seeing him out on the ice. On line number two, we had Brandon Hagel, Kirby Dach, and Brett Connolly. Line number three, we had Henrik Borgstrom, Lucas Reichel, and Alex Nylander. And rounding out the forward lines with line number four, we had Adam Gaudette, Mackenzie Entwistle, and Jujhar Khaira. On to the defense. Pairing number one is Riley Stillman and Connor Murphy. Pairing number two was Caleb Jones and Wyatt Kalnik. And pairing number three was Nicholas Beaudin and my boy, Isaac Phillips. It was so good to see him in NHL action, even if it was only preseason action, but he was still wearing the Blackhawks sweater. Methinks that a little ways down the line here, he will be wearing that a lot more often. Not this season, but maybe next season, more likely the season after that. And in net, Kevin Lankinen played the whole game, but Arvid Soderblom was backing him up. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole game play-by-play because it was just the first preseason game. But before I get to talking about specific players in the lineup, here are some things that you do need to know from the game. The Blackhawks lost 4-3 in the shootout to the Red Wings, even though they had a 3-1 lead at one point. They even had a lead in the third period. But with just under 2 minutes to go, Bobby Ryan tied it up. Nobody scored in overtime. They went to the shootout and lost. Although Jonathan Toews did score in the shootout, his, trademarked 5-hole goal. So that was very nice to see. But in regulation time, Dominik Kubalik got on the board for the Blackhawks in the first period. That goal was assisted by Philip Kurashev and Captain Jonathan Taves. He got a point, he got a shootout goal, he got a ton of ice time. I would say the captain is back. Period number two is when we saw the two other Blackhawks goals. The first one just warmed my heart so very much. Brandon freaking Hagel got on the board. He started the scoring off early this year. If you recall last year, his rookie season, he could not buy a goal to begin with. Then he got that first one, then the points started coming for him, but he kicked it off early, getting that first goal in the first preseason game. He received the pass from Kirby Dach, got right in front of the net, and shot the puck at Thomas Greiss. It just kind of trickled through his legs after it hit his pad. Doesn't matter, the puck was in, Brandon Hagel got a goal. That's all I care about. And I sure hope to be saying that a lot this season. And the third and final regulation goal for the Chicago Blackhawks was scored by Jujhar Khaira. It's fun when the new guys score. Connor Murphy took the shot from the blue line. Khaira tipped the puck. It was a great deflection. Went past the goaltender. Blackhawks were up 3-1. And then, of course, you know, because I just told you, or because you were watching the game, that Detroit tied it up, went to overtime, shootout, Hawks lost. It's only preseason. It's only one game. But how many times last year did we see the Blackhawks get a lead, give it up late, and then lose the game? It was a sick trend, and then just seeing that happen in the first preseason game just brought all of that back. Even though they didn't have most of their big guns in the lineup, they did have some of them. So let's just hope that they got that out of their system with that first game, and it just never happens ever again. I wish that was a realistic thing. So that's the score and the Blackhawks goals, but how about some other numbers? Shots on goal! There were a lot of them. The Blackhawks had 39, the Detroit Red Wings had 33. That is a lot of shots toward the net. I don't really know how the Hawks ended up with 39 because they still are doing this thing where they are very hesitant to shoot the puck. Certain players in particular, Kirby Dach being one of them. It is rather frustrating. They were getting some sustained zone time, which we surely didn't see a lot of last year, but they were getting some last night, but you want to see more high danger chances, and they just held on to the puck too long. But again, first preseason game coming off of the offseason. This is the time to get all of that out of their system. We just have to hope that they actually get it out of their system and don't just hold on to that for the regular season. The faceoffs were pretty close. Detroit won 50.7% of them, so technically they were ahead, but not by very much. But then we come to special teams, and this is where it all falls apart. Why is special teams always where the Chicago Blackhawks fall apart? The good news is that they did only take one penalty, and they did kill off that penalty, so they were 100% on the penalty kill. On the other hand, they went 0 for 5 on the power play. Let that just sink in for a minute. The Chicago Blackhawks against the Grand Rapids Griffins, and they went 0 for 5 on the power play. Yes, I know that Patrick Kane wasn't playing, Alex DeBrincat wasn't playing, I get it, but still, 0 for 5? Really? They were doing some good things at times during their power plays. They were getting their feet moving, they were passing the puck. Other times they resorted to what they do best, and that was just standing there. I don't know if their legs were tired because it's the first game and they're not used to playing games anymore, or if, that's just what Chicago Blackhawks power plays are, is just a bunch of standing around, but that was very much not a welcome sight. The power play units that they put out there last night can really only be taken with a grain of salt because, again, they didn't have the big guys and Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat out there, and Seth Jones is going to be on the power play. But here are the power play units that they did roll with. One power play unit was Henrik Borgstrom, Kirby Dach, Philip Kurashev, Dominik Kubalik, and Wyatt Kalnik. The other power play unit was Jonathan Toews, Adam Gaudette, Lucas Reichel, with Caleb Jones and Nicholas Beaudin. And they all sucked. I'm just here to get you ready for the regular season. You have to be prepared for the power play to suck. But maybe the penalty kill will improve. They did go 100% last night, killing off one. Yay! Other than that, it was a very interesting game to watch because it wasn't necessarily a bad game, but it also wasn't necessarily a good game. It was more of an evaluation game, which is kind of what the preseason is, but more so the first one. I thought Jonathan Toews looked great last night for a player who had to miss the entirety of last season and didn't quite know what was going on with his health, but he's certainly been determined to get back into the lineup. You can tell he was moving his feet. He was getting some chances. He didn't really shoot the puck a whole lot, but he was passing it. He did get a couple of shots off, one very good one, but it was stopped by the goaltender. He was one of the ice time leaders, and he didn't really seem to slow down during the game, so I will take that as a good sign, even though today he did say his legs were tired, but that's to be expected. I was expecting Lucas Reichel to stick out a bit more, but he was on a line with Henrik Borgstrom and Alex Nylander, neither of which those guys impressed me at all. So I would like to see him on a line with players who are doing something rather than players who are doing nothing. Because you can tell the speed is there, he is very fast, he's hard on the puck, he's good at protecting the puck, so he just needs to be with players who can, get to the net and get shots off instead of just not doing that. Kurashev looked good, Kubalik looked good, Brandon Hagel, of course, he's back, he scored that goal, he looked good, he was hard on the puck, that's what we've come to expect from Mr. Bagel. Adam Gaudette had a very good game, which was nice to see. He went on a new diet over the summer. He says he's feeling better than he ever has. He had gut issues before, and he was just never quite feeling 100%, so now that he's got that figured out, he could be ready for a breakout season, and that sure would be nice to happen in Chicago. In net, Kevin was kind of up and down. He made some spectacular saves, one where he just shot out the glove and snatched a puck right out of the air. I don't even know how he saw it. There were about 3 guys just directly in front of his face, but he grabbed it somehow. It was a fantastic save. But there were a lot of pucks just sneaking between his pads, and that's how Detroit scored at least one of their goals, and that's going to be something that he needs to lock down. I don't know if he got new pads, I don't know if it was rust, but it was something that was clearly evident. He lied down on his back many a time because he didn't know if he had the puck or not. So You don't want to see that going forward. And on the blue line, the guy who impressed me the most was Caleb Jones. I was really impressed with his skating. He's quick, he could skate out of trouble. He didn't seem to make too many bad decisions. It looks like he will be playing again tomorrow night when the Hawks take on St. Louis, and his brother will also be in the lineup. So we will get to see both Jones brothers in action. Which one's gonna look better? That'll be interesting. The guy who impressed me the least, and I am very sad to say this, but it was Wyatt Kalnik. I grew to be a big fan of his last year. He started in Rockford, he looked great, got called up, showed he could play in the NHL, and it seemed like maybe this season he would just come in, be that steady defenseman putting up points again. Last night he wasn't so great, but again, it is only the first preseason game. I say he didn't impress me very much last night. I don't think that he's just going to have a terrible season because of that. I'm just going off what I saw. And then you have Isaac Phillips. You know, I gotta talk about him. Absolutely zero expectations for the kid coming into the 2020-21 season for the Rockford IceHogs, but his play just continued to progress and develop as the season went along. He became one of the most steady defenders back there and exciting to watch because he's not afraid to drive the puck to the net himself, which is always fun. And if he sees an attacking player coming into his corner, he just immediately stops them because nobody passes in Isaac Phillips' corner. And last night especially, if an opposing player did get the best of him, he just came out and shoved them because he was having none of that. If you didn't notice Isaac Phillips last night, go back, rewatch the game, you'll see it. All in all, it was an interesting game to watch. I was just happy hockey was back on the TV. I look forward to tomorrow night seeing some different guys on the ice. We will see Fleury and net, so that shall be exciting. If you would like to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head over to FromCenterIce.com. Check out the links to everything. I had a game preview yesterday. I'll have another one tomorrow. If you're more of a social media person, you can find the links to all of those platforms down in the description. We do also have a Patreon if you would like to support us. It's still very new. There are only 2 tiers, I believe, but more are coming. There are things to look forward to. But that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all after the next game. Bye, guys.